They told me Grandma was in the hospital. Mom's voice cracked on the phone. Or maybe she wanted it too. She needs you, she said. We'll cancel the cruise if you don't stay. I told her I'd stay. Of course I did. I was always the good one. 2 days later, my sister posted a photo on Instagram. All of them, Mom, Dad, and her grinning on the deck. Sunlight glittering behind them. Caption, "Best vacation ever." I remember the taste of that moment. Metallic, like blood in the mouth after biting down too hard. Grandma wasn't in any hospital. She was in her garden feeding the cat, confused when I showed up with flowers. That's when the Lee collapsed in silence. I didn't say a word. I just stood there smiling at her while something cold and precise settled inside me. My family had a habit of treating me like the spare. The irresponsible one who cleaned up after their chaos, who never caused it. My sister Leela was the opposite. Reckless, radiant, adored. Every story at the dinner table somehow turned into attribute to her spontaneity, while mine became the moral lessons. I used to believe love had different expressions, that theirs just looked colder. But love doesn't disguise itself as deceit. It doesn't abandon you with a lie and expect forgiveness waiting on the shore. So I stopped being the responsible one. I became something sharper. The night he found that post, I didn't cry. I opened my laptop. I started with my father's company, the family-run logistics firm where he kept the accounts under his name, but used my ideas. I had helped design their entire digital system when I graduated. Every invoice, every shipment ran through the architecture I built. They forgot that. I didn't delete anything. I didn't destroy. I rerouted. The week they left for the cruise, I moved all operational control under a new shell company, one registered under my name. Legally, it wasn't theft. It was a technical transition. When they came back, I'd owned the pulse of their business, Mom's real estate holdings. I found her tenants, sent polite notices about ownership restructuring. They deal with me now. I didn't take their money, not yet. I took their certainty. They came back 2 weeks later, suntanned and loud, smelling like ocean and ignorance. Leela dropped her suitcase at the door laughing. "You should have come," she said, waving her phone. "Grandma's fine. See?" I nodded. Yeah, I saw. Dad was in the living room pouring a drink when I told him. "I've made a few adjustments while you were gone," I said casually. "The company now runs through me legally." He laughed at first, then he checked. His face changed color like a sunset dying out. Mom came next. "You can't just," she started, but I cut her off. "I didn't lie to you," I said. "You lied, Tom. I just believed you." Leela tried to mediate. "It was just a vacation." "You're overreacting." I turned to her. "You took my place. Now you'll live with what that means." Because I'd done one last thing. Quietly, I'd redirected all their reward points, savings accounts, and travel bonuses. Years of shared benefits to the company account, the one only I could assess now. Their cruise, their luxury, their future trips, they'd earned them under my name. They didn't speak for days, then weeks. The silence was satisfying, like the calm after a storm you watched from inside, dry and untouched. I kept working. The company thrived under my management. Efficiency improved. Profits rose. Word spread. Investors wanted to meet me, not my father. Leela started posting less. Mom started calling more. Dad started drinking earlier. Balance, I suppose, but I didn't gloat. Revenge isn't about shouting in their faces. It's about making them live with the realization that the person they dismissed learned from them quietly. It was a Sunday when they finally invited me over. "Let's talk," Dad said. They looked smaller somehow. The confidence was gone, replaced with a weary politeness. Like there were guests in their own house, Mom said softly. "We made a mistake." Iz smiled. "Yes," I said. "You did." Leela looked at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "Why didn't you just tell us?" she whispered. I leaned back, "Because you wouldn't have listened." "You never did." The air was heavy. Dad reached for his glass, but his hand trembled slightly. That's when I realized the revenge was done. Not when I took the company, not when their accounts froze, but now when I understood they'd been outplayed by the quiet one. That night I walked home alone. The city lights shimmered in the puddles, reflecting a sky I no longer needed to look up to. People say revenge doesn't heal you. They're wrong. It doesn't heal. It replaces. It fills the hollow with clarity. I used to think family was blood. Now I know it's truth, and they lost both the day they left Meet the Doc